So here's the thing, this power bar guaranteed I had the most romantic proposal. And let me break down exactly how this happened. There's a couple things I want to tell you today. I want to tell you exactly how I proposed to my wife in this beautiful spot. I also want to tell you why marriage did horrify me before I proposed and why I almost did not propose. And then lastly, I want to give you 3 reasons at the end of the video why you should propose to your significant other and how you can get over that fear. And maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about this power bar. So here's the cold hard truth. On the day that I proposed to my wife, I did not plan a thing. I must sound like the worst guy in the world. I didn't plan literally anything. So why would somebody leave a day like this up for chance? And there's 2 reasons for this, 2 reasons I learned from my running coach while running. Lesson number 1 is control what you can control. And all this means is if you're trying to propose to someone and you're trying to control every aspect of the situation, maybe going to see the sunset, but then the clouds come out and the sunset's not there. Do you still propose? You know what I mean? So you can't control everything in life. So if I tried to plan the best day possible, it probably would not happen how it happens in my mind. So if I tried to control it, tried to have everything happen in a certain way and it did not, I would be dwelling on that for the next 5 to 50 years of my marriage. So this is why I didn't want to plan anything. All I wanted to do is to drive to a very romantic place and propose to my wife. Whatever happened, happened on that day. And there's a second lesson why I didn't plan a thing. And this is because my coach always says to me, don't make it bigger than it is. And I know this sounds terrible for proposals, but anything in your life, if you think about this moment of time that you're in, whether it's a job interview, going to college, graduating from college, buying a house, you may think it's the most important thing in the world, but don't make it bigger than it is, because 5 or 10 years later, you really won't care about that day. Trust me, it does not change the future as much as you think it does. So because of those 2 reasons, I didn't plan one thing on the day of my proposal, and it was completely romantic. Let me tell you exactly why I almost never got married and why I was terrified of it. And I'll also tell you how I overcame that fear. So after dating my girlfriend for about 5 years, I wasn't really planning on getting married. It wasn't a thought in my head. Marriage was a scary thing that never ended well. And statistically speaking, you have a 50% chance of getting divorced in the first couple years of your marriage. So why would anyone want to get married knowing that they're a coin flip away from getting divorced? And I'll be the first to say my family was not immune to this statistic. This is something I grew up with and I saw firsthand. So with all this information in my head, there was no reason for me to propose to my girlfriend at the time, but everything changed in this one moment. You probably have the same moment. It's where you're just drifting through life and then someone says one phrase that just wakes you up, wakes you out of that zombie-like state. And that phrase was, are you putting time into someone that you're looking to marry and build something with, or are you really wasting that time? And for me, I'm a totally committed person. I hate wasting my time and energy. So this really woke me up with a bunch of other stuff going on in my life where, you know, that stuff comes up and it puts things into perspective. It puts priorities first in your life and you realize what's important. And after all this stuff came up, I realized my wife was important. So I ran past this information through one of my better friends in Boulder, Colorado on a hike, and he basically validated everything I was thinking and told me it would be a wise decision to propose to my girlfriend. So after that hike, only 1 hour after that hike, I drove to the jewelry store. I took 3 pictures of 3 separate rings and I sent them to multiple people in my life as a voting competition to see which ring I should choose for my future wife. I just want to point out what happened right there. So I was horrified of marriage. Something happened in my life that changed my situation, and I ended up driving to the jewelry store in 1 hour and picking out 3 rings. I ended up buying 1 ring the very next day to propose to my wife. I would say this story in a nutshell tells who I am. I am not afraid to pivot, change directions, and change everything completely to do the right thing in life. So I bought the ring, I drove home, she said yes, and that's the end of the story. Just kidding. The ring actually sat in my car for 3 months. I'm not kidding you. It was burning a hole in my trunk. Every day it was driving me crazy thinking about this ring in my trunk and the fact that I had not proposed. So one weekend I literally had no excuse but to go to the mountains and propose. The sky was blue, we weren't busy, and the snow was starting to melt. This was May in Colorado. All I wanted was a weekend in the mountains where the weather was perfect, and this was that weekend. So I was so excited. I told her, let's hop in the car, let's go for a ride, let's go for a hike in the mountains this weekend. She said,
I don't know about that.
I said, I think it'll be fun. She said,
Okay.
and then we went on the road down to 70 to Frisco, Colorado. It's a beautiful lake in the mountains at 8,000 feet high. This was the perfect place to propose. So we parked right by the lake, walked down to the lake, and I looked around the lake and I said, this doesn't look too beautiful. I don't think I want to propose here. And my heart sank because I didn't have a backup plan. Like I said, I didn't plan this whole weekend. I didn't know what we were gonna do. I didn't know where I was gonna propose. So what do you do if you don't know where to go in a town that is so beautiful? You gotta ask a local. That's exactly what I did. We walked up to a local. I said, are there any good hikes around here that are breathtaking? He recommended Sapphire Point. We hopped in the car, drove to Sapphire Point, hiked around it, sat on a bench, and that's exactly where I proposed. This was by far the most romantic and spectacular view I've ever seen in Colorado. You're out looking a lake and mountains, and there's snow and there's green trees. It was so beautiful. So here I am, horrified of marriage, horrified of proposing, and the ring is sitting in my backpack. I don't know what to say to get the ring out of my backpack without making it look obvious, but it finally came to me. I know we're both hungry people. We're running every day 7 to 10 miles. I knew if I asked her if she was hungry, she would say yes. I would be able to go get a power bar out of my bag, but here's the catch. I wouldn't get a power bar, I would grab the ring. So that's exactly what I did. I looked over to her and I said, do you want a power bar? And she said yes. So I grabbed my bag off the bench, started looking through it. Okay, let me get you that power bar. Grabbed the ring subtly out of the bag and hopped on one knee. This was the make or break moment. You are on one knee proposing to your loved one, hoping that they love you back enough to say yes. Needless to say, I was horrified right here standing on my knee. But I dug down, found the confidence to say the word, Stephanie, will you marry me? Now I'm thinking, oh no, did I not say enough? Should I have said more? What was I thinking? And I looked up to her, hoping she was gonna say the word yes, and she said,
I don't know about that.
I'm just kidding, she didn't say that.
Are you serious?
What? Yes, she said that. I'm not kidding. Those were her words when I asked her to marry me. Are you serious? And it wasn't like a funny, are you serious? It was like, what are you thinking? So I guess you could say she didn't see this coming, but eventually she said,
yes.
Then I put on that ring and then we kissed. Gross. Sorry you had to see that.
But what about the power bar?
So that was my romantic proposal, and that's how I used this power bar to get the ring out of my bag. So now I want to tell you how I overcame my fear of marriage to commit to someone forever. So after overcoming my fear of marriage and committing to someone forever, I learned 3 important things. 3 things you can use in your life to know if you should commit to that person you're dating or you're around every day. The first thing is you want to find someone that is your best friend, because as you grow together, as life goes on, that person is going to be 7 different people throughout life. The person you're dating today may be completely different 7 years from now, 2 years from now, because life has seasons. You have a season where you're getting your master's program, you have a season where you're having kids, and during those seasons, you change as a person. So if you don't like that person for who they are on the inside, they're going to be completely different. You're not going to like them down the road, and you might get divorced. So you have to marry that person who is your best friend. It sounds cliche, but that's the honest truth. The second thing I learned through all this is find someone you're willing to work things out with, because as life goes on, you're not only going to change together, but you're going to go through so many problems together. So you have to find someone that is a problem solver with you, somebody that you're equal with, so you can figure things out together. You don't have one person controlling every situation. You want to be equals working things out together. Trust me when I say this, life gets messy, things happen. If you have someone that's going to buckle down and not jump ship, but instead work out those problems with you, that is a partner you want to have for life. And the third thing I realized after being horrified of marriage and actually getting married is get over yourself and go. All this means is don't be afraid. Whatever you're afraid of in life, whatever you have that is not letting you move forward, you need to get over that ASAP, because that is holding you back from success. That is holding you back from developing something with somebody, or starting a business, or maybe it's just having a healthy relationship with your friends and family. You need to get over that small stuff in your life to get to the big stuff in life. And lastly, this is the coolest video I have. Me and my wife sold solar eclipse glasses and made thousands of dollars from it. Check out that video to the right of me. These are worth $1 and I sold them for $30 a piece. And here's the shocking fact. Anybody in 12 different states could have done the same thing.